It's another reason why we are onshoring critical supply chains here at home to shore up our own critical supply chain and boost our own manufacturing here.
Is that still a Trump supporter?
Look, I will not speak to the president's relationships with Jeff Bezos, but I will tell you that this is certainly a hostile political action by Amazon.
Yeah, I would also. Terrible Biden election has been a priority for the first 100 days of the Trump administration, and President Trump has done a great job of leading that since January 20th. Interest rates, mortgage rates are down, gasoline and energy prices are down. We're expecting a further decrease.
Good morning, Brenda.
Big tax on consumers that goes unnoticed is deregulation or regulation, and we are deregulating and bringing that down. So from a household income point of view, we would expect real purchasing increases. We've seen over the first 100 days, and we would expect that to accelerate. We are doing peace deals, trade deals, tax deals, and deregulating. And the deregulation is a longer lead time, but I think by the third and fourth quarter, that's really going to kick in.
Caroline, budget review and Secretary Bassett told a lot of opponents how they didn't serving the marketplace. And the president has stated all along he's more concerned about mainstream America, the American worker. You just talked about deregulation and this entire fair trade and reciprocals. What is your message to the American people in terms of letting them get through this disturbance and the outcome being greater and a greater good for the American worker, the American people, the American families?
I would say trust in President Trump. There's a reason he was reelected to this office. It's because of the historic.
Well, Brenda, basically it's getting tougher every day to get around, but hey, it is what it is.
There's a proven formula that works. Massive deregulation.
Everybody ages at a different rate, and back, knees, everything.
Huge deal.
And I find I have to do stuff around the house. Just got to get it done, you know.
He's not just writing the best that we
Ken Fix, how you doing?
Think about our heartland, middle America, what towns used to look like, what they look like today. President Trump wants to.
Yeah, it's pretty gloomy today. It isn't very nice out, but it is what it is.
Fantastic trade teams. Secretary Bassett, Secretary Lutnick, Jameson Greer, all working incredibly hard on this effort 24/7. But tax cuts are coming, and that's key. Mr. Secretary, why don't you talk more about that?
Yeah, so it's really a school in the economic policy. It's trade, it's tax, and it's deregulation. So we are in the midst of addressing, as Caroline said, long-term trade imbalances. The tax bill is going much better than I would have thought when
They're mowing the grass as we speak out in the schoolyard. They got a couple of good sized grass mowers out there, so they're using zero turns, but I don't know the makes or models, but
it's going to give permanence to the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, which will back to the question on.
So JDS is hanging in there, huh? JDS, you're not working today, JDS? How's little Angel doing this morning? Good, I hope.
Institutional investors have panicked. So individual investors trust individual investors trust President Trump.
It's right in the back. I think that we should accept as far as relief on the auto tariffs front. And then further, the secretary, should we expect other industries to also get relief, what we've now seen for auto and tech law?
I'm not going to go into the details of the auto tariff relief, but I can tell you that it will go substantially toward reshoring American auto manufacturing. And again, the goal here is to bring back the high quality industrial jobs to the U.S. President Trump is interested in the jobs of the future, not the jobs of the past. You know, we don't need to necessarily have a booming textile industry, right? But we do want to have precision manufacturing and bring that back. And another important, very important function of this that does not get talked about enough is national security. President Trump, his overriding concern and belief is that economic security is national security. National security is economic security. And we saw during COVID that our supply chains got cut off. And we need to bring back a lot of those supply chains, whether it's in semiconductors, medicines, steel, and we have to onshore those. So it's a combination of making
So, hey Frank, how's it going? Oh, you're off today. Okay, JDS. Jody's here. Yeah, the weather has an effect on all that stuff, for sure.
So
Okay. That sounds good, Jody.
speech to Congress, that will be retroactive to January 20th. The other thing that we are looking to add is full expensing for factories. So bring your factory back. You can fully expense the
20 miles, huh? Range. That's good.
deregulation.
Well, that's with no obstructions or whatever. That's in a perfect world, but yeah, still that's good. You know, it's like the DJIs. They're rated to go 10 to 12 miles, and usually you get out any more than 5 to 6 or 7. You got different things causing problems.
And you know, what we talked about, and the president continues to be engaged with his fellow foreign leaders, fellow leaders around the world, the European Union. You see many of them visit the White House. I want to clarify in closing the point the secretary just made on the campaign trail. The president promised the American public that he was going to make America the best country in the world to do business again. Lowest taxes, lowest regulation, lowest energy costs of anywhere in the world. If you do business in the United States, you won't pay a tariff, you won't pay a price. That's not just good for companies around the world, but it's good for the American worker. That's what this team is focused so hard on. Today we have work work to do. The age of
Anya's got a soggy lawn. He's got to get cut, huh?
the American CEO, confident and optimistic about this president and where we're headed. So you will hear more from the president himself later this evening. He is traveling to Michigan, as you all know. He'll make a stop at the Air Force Base with Governor Whitmer, and then we will head to a rally tonight. We'll hear more from him directly. So we'll see you in Michigan. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Press conference from the White House. I kind of like this. I mean, it really gives us something to think about right now. Morning, Dana, Bill, go now. Headlines: 18 trade relationships, according to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Tariff income could be for tax relief. He talked about that. With regard to China, didn't give up much. With regard to India, no break pronounced. There was thought that maybe they're getting close. Investors referred to the possibility that they are close. Nothing.
I thought one of the strongest takeaways was Amazon making a business decision that it was going to be transparent and show the cost of the tariff as an increase to any of the prices that are going up on its site. And Caroline said she had just spoken to the president, and that the president and her, this is coming from the White House, that this decision by Amazon was a hostile and political act. We know that the president and Jeff Bezos have become.
Sure, prices on.
But I do think business people are making business.
Here comes Justin now.
Madeline Rivera has been at the White House for us, and she has more. Checking with her this morning. Hi, Maddie. Hi, guys. Hi, good morning, Bill and Dana. So the administration is looking to reshape its message on the economy, and it comes as polls show a majority of voters still remain gloomy about the issue. But you hear Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent say in the briefing today that their economic initiatives will take time, especially when it comes to trade, tax,
What's up, Paul?
Nevertheless, the White House
The usual. How are you doing? How was school this morning?
Well, that's fine.
sector and private investment. Here's what White House.
You usually get back home about this time of day?
Yeah. What's up, Nanya, Brenda,
In the United States,
see Jody, Russell,
and Joe Biden did in 4 years.
JDS. How's it going?
Yes, Brenda, I did. You can. It's posted.
And tariffs, of course, is the other main topic. Bessent answered some of those questions in this week this morning.
The Indiana Harbor was downbound, headed for St. Clair, I think.
Even is getting ready to soften some of the tariffs on cars. The Wall Street Journal reports that 25% tariffs on foreign-made cars and parts will remain in effect, but the automakers will have to pay other duties like those on steel and aluminum, and they'll also be reimbursed for some of the tariffs on imported auto parts. That levy is supposed to take effect on Saturday. A senior administration official says they're doing this because the administration has made good faith efforts to bring manufacturing back to the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick says this deal is a major victory for the president's trade policy by rewarding companies who manufacture domestically while providing runway to manufacturers who have expressed their commitment to invest in Speaking about those polls, 33% of voters, 38% of voters rather the way the president has handled the issue. 33% approve of his views on tariffs, 59% disapprove, and today the president will be heading to Michigan. We expect at the top 4 about those car tariffs when he heads to that visit. Bill and Dana, back to you. Maddie, thank you so much. Great to have you.
Top headline for her this morning. Good morning to you.
How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for being here. A couple things for possibility about a meeting ago. The soft
First upbound is all available for Stag Island, 1014.
Immigration and inflation. The border crossings are down 99%. I spoke with President Trump on Sunday. He told me 3 people will actually have to the border on the baseline. 248,000. That's remarkable. The month last year, 1 year ago. That's the, migration and immigration story. Now let's take a look at inflation. You and I talked about eggs a long time. 50%. Look at what mortgage rates are down. Look at oil prices are down. So when you take a look at what President Trump said he was going to do, it is a
What's up, Donald? How's it going?
these first 100 days. Has it been, so in terms of the stock market reaction?
Yeah, it's quiet.
Down since inauguration day. And that's because we've had a lot of uncertainty. When I interviewed President Trump last month, the one issue that I focused on was clarity. I said, Mr. President, business needs clarity. They have to talk to shareholders. They have to make their investment plans for the year ahead. They need clarity. He said, well, tariffs may go up. They may go up. They're not going to go down. I said to him, that's not clarity. That issue is front and center and has been front and center. It's about clarity. The
What?
business community, stock market investors, they
There's Mark.
Morning, Paul. Justin.
The,
front and center. So we will get specifics on these deals. It sounded from that press conference that we're going to get a deal on India very soon. South Korea, Japan soon after. But look, when you're taking a look at the next 100 days, and that comes, in August, it's about the Senate. It's about the tax extensions. The president will go to Saudi Arabia. By the way, talking about foreigners, $5 trillion in new money, investment from government.
Paul, you're gonna end up getting a copyright from that news.
Can you hear it?
You've heard it for like the last 5 minutes. How's your day going, Mark?
Oh, not too bad. It's another nice sunny day. Supposed to be getting up to about 23 today.
Sunny here too. We need some damn rain. I know that. Like bad. We're in a burn advisory. Plus all the lakes are starting to get pretty low. I haven't had much rain in the last.
Lots of gators
years.
running around or what?
No, we just didn't get a lot of rain last year. Except for from the hurricane. Actually, if it wasn't for that hurricane last year, we'd probably be really low right now.
Star Trek Voyager on Pluto.
We've been getting clouds every day. It just hasn't done anything. They just kind of just swept over.
Oh, it looks like the sun's going to finally come out here. It was cloudy this morning when I did that ship.
Yeah, I'm hoping we get some rain here pretty soon. Everything's getting like really dry.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the downsides of living in Florida.
Well, like last year, like when I first moved here all the way up to last year, it was like clockwork. As soon as it got warm out, it was like a storm. Every single day you got a storm for at least 2 or 3 hours of just continuous rain, and then it would move out. And then last year it was like very sporadic. Sometimes we'd go weeks without a storm. And then this year it hasn't rained but a few times.
I mean, it's been probably a week since we had any rain.
Yeah, weather's been real weird the last couple of years. This is like how Paul, when I first started hanging out on Paul's show, like during the wintertime, that river would be iced over where they'd have to be running icebreakers up and down it. Last
Yep.
2 years, it hasn't done that at all.
No, not the river. Out the lake a lot, yep, but not the river.
Just finishing up the summer policy.
Did you see what? Did you see what? Is Florida turning into the new Golden State?
I guess. I don't know, dude. The lakes are pretty fucking low. Like you can see the rings around the lakes where the water lines are at. Some of the lakes are about 3 or 4 deep feet lower than normal.
Hmm.
What's up, Al? Yeah, I heard the Midwest was getting slammed with storms. Everything's still green here, Al. It's just kind of dry right now.
Boone hates it when they're out there with the big zero turns. He just runs up and down the fence next to him. And the reason I found that out is the other day I got my zero turn out and I went to pull it out into the yard and he was just jumping at it, bouncing at it. I had to stop it, get off it, and put him back in the house. I learned my lesson. Don't try and do anything with the zero turn when he's out.
You don't like that?
No, he was even diving, trying to get underneath the blades. You know, it's got the cover, but still there's that space where the grass is.
Well, thanks for reminding me that I've got to go and cut the grass after.
Yeah, I was just looking at mine. You could use a mow and what I do is I have the mulching stuff on it because of the peanut shells. I just mulch it all up and
Yeah.
I'm watching him on the camera. He's running back and forth along the fence as the mower goes by.
Oh, they're cutting the grass on the school.
Yep. Just the other side of the fence because they're getting closer and closer towards my fence, you know.
Yeah.
Doing, Boner? Come here. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but he's
Barely.
right out the other side of that fence.
He's just is Boone outside?
Oh, he just came in, but as soon as he hears that, I'm sure he'll be heading back out there again.
Yeah, he'll just run back and forth along the fence barking.
Is there a way to plug in this phone like we do with the drones to put that video on there?
Is that your, what is that?
My cell phone.
No, is that your security camera?
Yeah.
Not really, no.
Okay, because I didn't know if I just plugged it in if it would show it over there, but
No. Because even some of the programs like Phone Link and stuff will actually block stuff like that because it considers it
hey, here
sensitive.
it comes again.
Oh yeah, he's running up and down the fence line, barking. I can see him. Yeah, he's running back and forth, chasing the lawnmower. What's up, Edward? Yeah, Brenda, that's gonna tire him out. Ping pong size hell hitting me right now. That's not a good sign.
No.
Isn't hell usually an indication of like possible tornadoes and shit like that?
Well, it just means that the there's a great differential in the temperature of the clouds in the sky and the ground level. Yep. Because it's like ice forms and it gets in the upper atmosphere and it gets dropped. Yep.
Morning, Al. Morning, Lance.
What's up, Lance?
There he is running around.
Yeah, he could run him back and forth. Figured that's what he was gonna do.
He's my little goofball, that's for sure.
Hang on,
Oh,
he's got. It's a
came
smart.
back in the house. He's getting some water.
It's a smart TV, isn't it?
What's that?
I said it's a smart TV.
I don't know. It might be. Hang on, I'm gonna go shut the door while he's inside.
Because if he's got the TV attached to his Wi-Fi,
Hey, get back.
there might be a
No.
stream
Oh,
via
no.
Bluetooth on his phone to the TV. Because that's how I watch YouTube quite often.
Come on, Bones.
Oh, you're talking about mirroring it to the TV?
Bones,
Yeah.
get up here. Come on.
Yeah, I'm not walking him through that. You can.
Bones.
It depends on whether there's
Hurry up.
the
Best just
little,
to tell him it's not possible.
yeah. Depends on whether there's that little square at the top of the video on the what's it
Go ahead.
on his security camera.
Come on, Bones. Bones, come on. Jump up there.
Christmas was that essential absolutely as much as how much of the thing.
A lot of these sort of machine shells have this dark trim.
Start friends.
He's inside now.
Mhm.
JDS, you take your time. I understand. So, Justin, what's your plan for the day? Anything?
No, just go back to work here in a little bit.
Yeah.
What time do you head back over?
Around 12 o'clock.
Oh,
What
so
time do they finish
two and a
school?
half hours. You're headed out again, huh?
Yeah.
What time do they finish school then?
Different schools, different times. Is that
Yeah, one gets out at 1, and then another one gets out around like 2 something. I
So
don't know.
do they have to wait at the second school until they come out if once they get on the bus from the first school?
No, because the other school's still in session. So we're taking those kids home, and then we come back. By the time we get back, they're just getting out the second
All
school.
right. So you do 2 trips. Yeah.
Yeah. We do 2 trips in the morning and 2 trips in the evening.
Because they both start at different times as well.
Yeah. Now, as from what I understand, all the schools are supposed to be going to
standardized?
a standard time, but I don't know.
How the hell are they going to do that?
Do I?
How the heck? You'd have to double your resources, right? If, in other words, if everybody got out or went to school at the same time, you'd have to have twice as many drivers, buses, and everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
pupils coming out. Yeah.
that's one thing that they've been looking at. Like, we don't know how that's going to work. So
It'd get to the point where you'd have to have a separate bus for each school for that. I mean, is there still only one bus at each school, or are there more than
Oh
one
no!
picking up?
Here, like Garfield School behind me, there must be 4 or 5 buses pull up, going on different routes
In different directions? Yeah.
Justin, you got the same situation, don't you?
what do you mean?
Well, the buses all take different routes, so they can't all load up all the kids.
Well, there's a
no.
lot more kids come out of school than will fit on one bus, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. There's like 20 buses that show up to each school.
Good God.
Now, in your case, I would figure it would be a lot more buses than that, because here it's like I've got, this is Garfield Elementary, and there must be 5 buses pull up. And that's in the city, you know?
And what does each bus take? About 50 pupils?
About 20, 25, 30. But every pupil doesn't ride the bus. Like if they live in the area, they walk back and forth and go to school.
Yeah. I guess if you're picking up from a high school, you've got a wider catchment area.
Yeah, yeah. Now we got Northern High School, Southern High School. We got Marysville High Schools. They all pull up there and line up in front of the place. The buses just line up because some of them are taking them north, some of them taking them west, northwest, uh, whatever the route calls for.
Mm.
What's up, Dusty?
Hey, Dusty.
Yeah, at the high school we go to, there's probably 25, 30 buses that show up there.
That's quite a few.
Yeah. That school has like 600 or 800, I think like 800 or 1,200 students, something like that.
Mm.
And then the high school my kids go to, I think they have like 1,400. And that's just 4 grades.
Just 4.
Yeah, 9th through 12th.
All right.
I
Most of
never
our,
understood why. See, I never understood why cities just didn't make one large school K through 12. Why
There's
they
some
need to make
plans.
multiple schools that are all in different locations, I don't get it. I think it's a waste of time and money. Just make one massive ass school and split it up by campuses,
yeah.
where they don't have interaction with each other.
Our primary schools are 5 till 11, and then the secondary schools are 11 to 16. So we got 5 years in secondary school, unless they've got a sixth form as well, in which case you've got another 2 years on top of that.
It would be 7 in your first school if you went to pre-K. And then it would be 3 in your secondary school and then 4 in your third.
Oh yeah, some of our primary schools start at 3. They do 3 and 4 year olds one.
Yeah, that's what we call pre-K.
Yeah.
And it's actually good for kids to get into that because a lot of times they'll be ahead of the curve when they get into kindergarten. They already know like their shapes and their colors and different things that they'd be already learning in there. So it puts them a little bit ahead. They have a lot easier time in kindergarten if they take pre-K classes. Because a lot of kids will go into pre-K at like 4. And then when they turn 5, they'll go into kindergarten. So they get a year's head start on it.
Mm.
But not all schools have pre-K. A lot of the pre-Ks around here are actually private. They're like kind of daycares, but they're pre-K as well.
Yeah.
So they have classes that they do for kids at certain ages. Like Aubrey, when we moved to Florida, when we had her, she went to a private. It was a private pre-K school or class because it was also a daycare. So they would watch her from the time we went to work and got off. Plus, I'm doing that too. You got a government like voucher, and it was really cheap. You only had to pay like $20 a week or something. The government would pay the rest of it. So it was like really cheap.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have been paying like, you know, $200 a week easy, but I
Yeah.
was only paying 80 a month. So
Yeah, I guess that's a bit like Joe's granddaughter, isn't it? About 170 a week or something. Or was it? No, it's more than that, isn't it? He's paid. His daughter's paying for her kid. And it's something like 70 a day or something.
uh something like that. But I mean, if you fall under a certain threshold too, like with
Yeah, if you're on
like
benefit.
well, if you're on benefits or you say your just income is at a certain threshold too, it's not like she can't apply for vouchers and stuff from the government for daycare. They'll get, she just has to find them. She has to go to her local whatever um like assistance office or whatever and just find out what they have. A lot of times they have vouchers for daycare and stuff like that. That's how we got it, just because it was and it was like really high too. It was like if you made under like 60 or 70,000 a year, you could get the voucher. But every state's a little different, so
Yeah, I mean, that's quite a lot of money, really. To earn, to be able to get it. To get that kind of thing over here, you've got to be on a lot lower pay than that.
I mean, we made enough to pay for it if we had to pay out of pocket, but it would have put us in a tight spot at the same time, you know, because that would
Yeah.
have been like $800 a month. You know, that would have been like 1 week's worth of pay for me at the time. So,
I mean, I remember when I started work back in 1982, I was only on like £5,500 a year. But then when I retired in 2009, I was on over 30. I guess if I was still there, I'd be pushing 40,000 a year now.
yeah, usually with like assistant programs, they go by, I think, whatever like the average medium household income is. And I think that's around like 60,000 now or something. And but of course, the higher you are to that 60,000, the less you're going to get, you know. It's not like you're going to get the same as somebody making 20,000 a year, you know.
Yeah.
And then anything after 60, you're not going to get shit. They won't even let you apply for anything.
I think with my disability, my works pension, and the state pension, when I get it in a few months' time, I'll be on around about 36,000 a year. But my tax on that will only be, I don't know, maybe 1,000, perhaps a bit more than that a year.
Yeah, when we were taking care of Sarah's grandma the last 2 years she was alive, she was living with us. She was only getting like 180 in food stamps because she had a retirement plus she was getting Social Security. So they would only give her like it wasn't enough for her to live off for a month, but we would but she would, use some of her retirement money. So,
Mm.
Some of these school bus drivers are incompetent. My goodness. Do you have an incompetent bus driver, Justin?
there are a handful of them, yeah.
This gal's talking to the parent on the side of the street. Kid's
Oh,
been in the
dude.
bus for about 20 minutes.
I can't stand that when we're in our bus and we're behind another bus and they stop and do that shit.
It's like, get them on the bus and get going. Don't
Like they do that
chit-chat.
shit when they're coming into the schools. The attendants and the bus drivers will get off the bus in the middle of the road and want to sit and have a conversation. It's like, move it. We got people to pick up. We got to go. Like, we're not trying to be behind. They do that all the time. Because you got bus drivers that just do like the bare minimum they're supposed to do. They just pick the students up and drop them off. Then you got bus drivers that get really into the job and they have to know every parent and, you know, they want to talk to every single parent and yeah.
Yeah. There's a huge accident on I-5 in Tacoma, and it shut down both directions. Semi-truck driver was killed. His rig caught on fire. So it'll be interesting to see how my commute is on the way in. I'm taking the back roads, which I normally do, but everyone else is going to be taking the same back road now.
Yeah.
They're going to get off the freeways.
Yeah, like the bus driver I ride with, like, if a kid, like, because Sarah's mom, she picks up some of the morning, like, we pick up the morning kids, and she has some of our morning kids in the afternoon. And she's all into wanting to know why the kids weren't at the bus stop that day and asking me. I'm like, I don't know. But my bus driver's like, I don't care if they're not there. I'll just fucking leave. He doesn't.
So he's not a bus driver that knows that there's supposed to be 5 kids and there's only 4 there. He doesn't wait for the 5th one because they might have slept in.
Well, you're not supposed to wait anyway, because they tell the kids they have to be at the bus stop 15 minutes prior to the bus being there.
Yeah.
So if the bus is on time and it gets there, they're supposed to stop, open the door, look around for about 10 seconds. If there's nobody there, then they're supposed to just drive off. But he doesn't question why the kid's not there. He don't care. He's just like, whatever. If the kid's not here, I'm going. But like Sarah's mom, she'll be wanting to call the parents, finding out if the kid's okay and all this other stuff. Like I said, some bus drivers are just more into it than others.
Yeah.
Do you get into any problems with work if you end up being late on a certain day or something?
Not really. I mean, there's buses are delayed all the time because of either accidents or you might get stuck in traffic on the way to work, or so. It's not
Railroad
uncommon
crossing.
it's not uncommon for buses to be behind schedule. But see, we have that whole new system now where the parents can track the bus and it will tell them, you know, if there's a delay and what time the bus is expected to be there and everything.
Mm.
So.
All flying a ship.
No,
But the kids have to check in on a tablet when they get on the bus. and get
there
off
isn't
the
any
bus,
ships
so
right now, Lance.
Yeah.
Okay.
you know who's on the bus and who's not. So
And then it's up to the school to sort out who's not got there on time.
right, if they're not there on time, then they either the parents have to take them to school or they miss that day. And so the school doesn't call and check kids if they don't show up. They just mark them as absent. And then if they get enough absence over a certain amount of time, then they get the truant officer involved. which is usually the deputy or the police officer that's for that school, will get involved, and then they'll actually show up to the house to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
Is you can get in trouble for your kids not going to school. There's a certain amount of days they're allowed to miss. Because there's so many days of excused absences and so many days of unexcused absences
Yeah.
they can have.
Wait a minute. Got a phone call.
Uh,
Giggles.
you have not driven in Florida Mad Max Road Warriors.
TJ, are you at work?
Yeah, especially if you stop in road rage, Dusty. You might get shot at. That's the first thing I tell people when they move to Florida. Like, don't fuck around on the roads. Don't road rage. Just keep driving. It ain't worth it. You don't know what them people got in their car. You get out and you go up there and smack their windshield, they're liable to put two through the fucking window at you. It ain't worth it at the end of the day. You could just go home and forget about it, and an hour later not give a shit anymore. At the end of the day, it don't fucking matter if there wasn't an accident. Not worth it. Just fucking go home. Oh, hold on. Donald sent me a picture of his porch. Now, this is Donald's porch right now. Look at all that hail.
Oh, wow.
It looks like about marble size.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I mean, I don't know how big it was when it hit the ground, but the size it's sitting there, it's about marble size. Not a marble. At least that's what it looks like. Crazy. Waiting for concrete should be here soon. There's been a lot of road rage shootings here in Michigan on the freeways within the last couple of years. People can be real assholes. Yeah, Edward, like I said, like when I meet people that move from like New York and places like that, I'm like, man, don't fuck around down here because, you know, in some states you get in trouble for shooting somebody that's banging on your window or, you know, threatening you. You know, they don't have stand your ground law like they do in Florida and certain other states. So you gotta
Don
be
said that
careful.
the ice is mostly marble size.
It was fist. Was it fist size? It was bigger.
He says when it first started, it was bigger.
Oh. Oh.
Not good.
Yeah, because it did look like it was melted just slightly in the picture he sent.
Yeah, it all depends upon what the temperature is there now, you know? You know,
Well,
if
it's kind of
in
like
the 70s or 80s, those marbles size hail melt fast.
well, it's like snow. You know, you can get snow, but it not be cold enough to stick to the ground.
Right.
Like I said, in the desert where I lived, we got snow sometimes a couple times a year, but it never stuck to the ground. Yeah, it'd come down in flakes, and you'd see it flaking down, but as soon as it hit the ground, it'd just melt. Yeah, were you able to go outside and look at your car, Donald? Hopefully your car didn't get fucking
Yeah,
paid up.
I'd be double checking your car for hail damage unless you got it in the garage.
I'm telling you, I still think my flood bag for the cars is a good idea. Pull your car into a big industrial size heavy duty bag and almost vacuum seal that bitch. And when the water comes in, doesn't get into the car. Be great for places like where Joe lives. You wouldn't have to worry about your car getting fucked up. You suck all the air out, then you don't have to worry about it floating away. Because there was a YouTuber, Bikes and Beards, and he was talking about actually making them for motorcycles. And I was like, man, that would actually be a good idea for a vehicle if you lived in a kind of a flood prone area. I mean, it would have to be made out of some heavy duty ass material, but it could be done. Totally could be done.
Well, what would be nice if it had some kind of like a bubble wrap inside where you put either suck the air out or put the air in, and it has bubbles around the outside of it.
Well, I mean, in that case, you'd want no air in it because you wouldn't want it to have a flotation type. You wouldn't want it to have any kind of air in it because then it would be off. It would give it a flotation type issue, and then it would want to float. But he was serious about making those bags for the bikes, and I put in the comments, I said, man, that would actually be a really good idea for vehicles as well.
Don
Especially,
says he's waiting for the rain to stop before he goes checks his car.
especially like I said, in places like where Joe, where tenants have had their cars flooded multiple times in that parking lot. If you knew you were getting a bad storm like that coming in, you could go out there, pull your car in a bag, seal it up. Give you a better chance of your car surviving without getting fucked up. I'm actually surprised nobody's come up with that idea. He's gonna wait till the rain stops to go look. So it sucks too, is Donald's garage is already full, so he can't even pull his cars in the garage. He's got the other two cars in there.
Nearly 6 hours. Give us an idea of its trajectory. Same continent, but this time on the eastern coastal region. Largest colonies there. For 5,000 citizens. Captain, we appreciate your effort, but I think it's time we consider.
Because I think Donald, you have what, a 2-car garage or 3-car? But he's got 4 cars altogether with the son car in there. The son's car that's parked in there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they make some kind of car covers that are extra padded for hail? I don't know, Dusty, but if not, that's another good idea for vehicles. To be honest. Put big old thick ass like 10-inch chunks of fucking memory foam in there. Something for the hail to hit but not do anything. Like high density foam. That covers all the way around the sides and the top to the ground.
You can make them custom sized just for whatever vehicle it is, too.
Oh, a lot of car company or a lot of car like accessory, I guess you want to say makers, people that make accessories of cars. That's usually what they'll do is they'll have one that you can order for
Yeah,
any kind
you
of
wouldn't want, in
type of
that
car.
particular case, you wouldn't want a one size fits all, you know?
No. And if you got a really popular car, like say like a Ford F-150, something like that, those kind of companies usually make custom stuff for that, like floor mats and dash covers, all kinds of shit. Like I said, if they don't make them, that would be a good idea. I don't know if they make them, to be honest. Let me look and see. Oh yeah, they do have them. I don't. I'm sure there's probably. I don't know if I would trust this one for $80, but
Oh, $80. I wouldn't, I don't know. That's too cheap, isn't it?
yeah, and that just doesn't seem thick enough. Like I'm talking, like I would want like 10-inch thick foam to where it wouldn't touch. You guaranteed it ain't gonna hit the car.
Yeah.
Where it's gonna hit that foam and it has no chance of going through that foam. Because that seems kind of thin. Like I'm sure that would help, definitely. But if a big enough chunk came down, it would probably still do damage. That doesn't seem very thick. I mean, yeah, it shows 4 layers, but I'd almost bet you could pinch that between your fingers. It doesn't look very thick. I'm sure it would help mitigate it for sure, but like I said, if you had like baseball size ones coming down, I don't think that would do a whole lot. And like I said, that's kind of a cheap off-brand cover. I'm sure since they do make them, I'm sure there's companies out there that are probably high-grade companies that make really good ones. But oh, they have a blow-up one. Look at this one. But even then, like I don't know if I would trust this one because, again, if you had a baseball size,
Oh, wow.
if you had a baseball size freaking or softball size piece of hell come down, it might rip right through that. I don't know how good a material that is.
What's the price on that one?
That one's $500,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's more.
but that looks like some kind of probably an American company or something that probably makes really good ones. But still, I don't know how tough that material is. Because you're talking about a baseball sized piece of hell come down. It might slice right through that. I don't know. Guess the only thing you could do is watch review videos on it. Look at this person. They fucking put pool noodles. You see this? They just strung a bunch of pool noodles together and put it across their car. That's funny as hell. And then look at this person just put a bunch of blow up shit all over their car. I guess you got to use what you got. So I put a bunch of blow
Oh,
up
look at
mattresses.
floaties.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Mark, your
Mark,
microphone's not working if you're talking to us.
and you're not showing you're muted neither. I think his audio, or he might be on the phone. I don't know. Because it's not showing he's muted, so I wonder if his audio just cut out. Because I don't know if he could hear us. Can you hear us, Mark?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Not you. As it looks like he's having a full blown conversation, but I don't know if he can hear us or not.
Yeah, that's the most animated I've seen him in a long time.
Usually you only see the top of his head.
Yeah.
Oh, here, I'll put in the chat because he is reading the chat. I have no idea, Edward. I've never really, I've only ever seen hell a couple of times in my life in person. So I'm not real familiar with it, to be honest with you. But I would rather have that. I would rather have, I don't know. I think something with, like I said, thick ass, like high density foam that's at least 5 to 10 inches thick. That'd be the way to go.
And I think the most ingenious was the pool noodles.
Yeah, and that probably costs them maybe $30 to make that. The pool noodles.
Yep.
I mean, technically that would work if you actually built it. If you were able to attach the pool noodles together really well.
Yep.
And actually run them down both sides of the car, that would actually probably work pretty well.
Yeah.
Because pool noodles are pretty thick. And you can get the big thick ass ones too, like the really big thick ones. And that would definitely stop hell from hitting your car.
Make sure there's no gaps.
Yeah. As long as there was no gaps or anything, yeah. You were able to connect them together real well, but they were nice and sturdy. Yeah, but I'm not sure, Edward. Like I said, I've never dealt with hail before. We have had a couple tornadoes near our area, but nowhere like where I exactly live at. We've had a few tornadoes that were within like 20, 25 miles of us, which is not very far for a tornado because there's been some tornadoes that have gone a couple hundred miles on the ground before they stopped. Yeah. Yeah, that's true, Edward. As long as they were butted up against each other in a nice solid wall, it would definitely work. I said pool noodles are pretty thick. And they're actually not, unless they're dry rotted, they're not easy to tear. Like you usually have to cut them with a knife or something. Yeah, I've never seen hail, Brenda. With the few tornadoes we've had in our area, I've never actually seen any hail or anything, but I have seen it a couple of times throughout my lifetime in different places. What the fuck's this dude been doing the last 20 minutes? Take that long to stop at one stop? Oh yeah, that would work too. Yeah, they are hollow, Edward. They have about a inch hole that goes all the way through them, and then they have a split down them where they actually open up. They actually are pretty much the same type of foam you put around pipes. It's pretty much how they are. It might actually be the same exact fucking foam that they just color and repackage as pool noodles. Uh, you talking about in Florida, Brenda? Because I know that there's been some in the Midwest that have gone a couple 100 miles on the gram. Like I said, I'm not real familiar with tornadoes either. I've only ever seen one in my lifetime, and it was like 20, 30 miles from me, but I could see it because it was kind of wide open. You could see it that far away. That was when I was traveling through the Midwest years ago. Let me see here. What's the longest distance a tornado has covered? So yeah, longest one that was recorded went 219 miles from Ellington, Missouri to Princeton, Indiana. Jesus. It was on the ground for 3.5 hours. Fuck. Who's that? Oh, Lance coming back in. And they had another one that went 30 miles. And they had one in Oklahoma that went 90 miles. They had one in North Arkansas back in 2008, went 122 miles. Oh, I was gonna ask Donald if you ever been to the Bonnie and Clyde house in where he lives at. I watched somebody go take a tour of it the other day. It's in Joplin, so it's right where Donald lives at. What's up, Daryl? Oh, it can be rented. They rent it out as an Airbnb. He didn't say that in the video. Okay.
Lance, what time do the kids get there?
Kids get here at, school starts at 8:15, so 1 hour. I don't start till 9:15.
So you got 2 hours before you get kids.
Yeah.
Why are you there so early?
Routine, right? Just your routine.
Getting ready for the day. Making sure I've got all my crap together. Kids will eat you alive if you're not ready. You're stumble bumming.
I'm jumping off. I'll catch y'all later.
Okay, Justin. Well, I'm glad you made it in, Lance, before we pack it in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're down to just 12 people watching, and
12 people. That's our record high, isn't it?
no, usually we get 18 to 20.
Yeah. Where's Ed and Joe today?
Don't know. I don't know. Ed, Joe's not here. TJ checked in earlier and exited. I think he might be working.
Walmart works him too hard, I think. He needs to move over to Walgreens, I think.
Yeah. Okay, everybody. Well, I guess I'm going to pack it in.
Let's pack it in.
Thanks for showing up, everybody, and we'll see all of you again later today at 5 o'clock Eastern time. Bye for now. Bye, Mark.